All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. I'm not surprised that the Atlanta Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr. is your 2023 National League MVP, but I am surprised in regards to how the voting played out. Now, Acuna received all 30 of the first place votes, while a pair of Los Angeles Dodgers and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman finished second and third, respectively. Matt Olson, honestly, finishing fourth was a little surprising to me. And I say that because Olson led all of baseball in home runs this past year with 54 and runs batted in with 139 as well, to go along with his 283 batting average. And historically, when sluggers put up those type of seasons, they tend to get some more love in the voting process. And I'm not taking anything away whatsoever from Ronald Acuna Jr. as he earned his MVP. You're talking about a guy who hit 337 this season, 217 hits, 41 home runs, 106 runs batted in, 73 stolen bases, and a 416 on base percentage. I mean, at the end of the day, you'd be hard pressed to overlook those numbers. Now, Freeman and Betts each hit, had good seasons for the Dodgers. Freeman hit 331. He had 29 home runs, 102 runs batted in, and 59 doubles, while Betts was 307 with 39 excuse me, homers and 107 runs batted in. For Freeman and Betts, they were the bright spots for the Dodgers. Dodgers still had a darn good season, but at times, Freeman and Betts really had to carry that lineup. But at the end of the day, 54 home runs are hard to argue with. But I will say this: I mean, the Braves did have one of the deepest teams in baseball, and it was clear, in their record. Obviously, things didn't work out for them in the postseason, but nonetheless, maybe that was part of what was taken away from Matt Olson's year. And I'm saying it from the standpoint that I figured he would have finished a little bit higher than fourth in the MVP balloting. But nonetheless, again, you're very hard pressed to deny the phenomenal season that we just witnessed from Ronald Acuna Jr. Now, over the summer, I did talk about the possibility of a co MVP between Olson and Acuna, and it would have been the first time since that happened since 1979. That was the last time it happened when both Willie Stargell and Keith Hernandez shared NFL. We're in football season. I got the NFL on the brain. Please forgive me. NL MVP honors, but I'm still a little shocked that Olson got fourth. Did the voters get it right? At the top, absolutely, because you can't deny the season that Ronald Acuna Jr. had. Again, I'm just saying I think Matt Olson, should have been a little bit higher. Uh, but with that said, credit to Ronald Acuna Jr. because it's been a tough road back for him. He tore that ACL in 2021. He was unable that year, that October, to help the Braves win their World Series championship. But now we're seeing excuse me, how good that this kid can be when he's healthy because there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's one of the better players in the game. And I think him taking home this award this week, cements that. Now, of the top vote getters, the top four vote getters in the National League this year, Olson is now the only one who has not won an MVP. Betts won the MVP in the American League with the Boston Red Sox back in 2018, and Freeman won his with the Braves in 2020. And now Acuna joins Freddie Freeman, Chipper Jones, Terry Pendleton, Dale Murphy, Hank Aaron, Bob Elliott, and Johnny Evers as the only players in Braves franchise history to be named MVP. And of course, that includes the Braves' time in both Boston and Milwaukee. But you look at Acuna, and of course, people are going to say, what are the chances for him to go out there and go back to back with this award? Not easy to do. A lot of things, have to happen. We don't know. I mean, he's an MVP candidate, of course, but you figure the last repeat MVP winner in either league was Miguel Cabrera in 2013, and of course, that's when Miggy, another native of Venezuela, was in the midst of the finest stretch of his career. We saw him, hit for the Triple Crown in 2012 when he helped the Tigers win the pennant. He came up just short of getting the Triple Crown once again in 2013. And then in the National League side, it was Albert Pujols back in 2009 with the St. Louis Cardinals. And of course, Pujols' nickname was the Machine, and that's all he did was rake um, during his soon-to-be Hall of Fame career. It's not that easy. Of course, Dale Murphy was able to get consecutive MVPs for the Braves in both 1982 and 1983, but nonetheless, Acuna's name definitely will be in the mix next season as long as he stays healthy. And the Braves are expected to once again be a very formidable team in the National League. If not next year, what are the chances that Acuna could get this award again before his career is over? I think there's a good possibility. I mean, you're talking about a young man. He's only 26 years of age. He's in the prime of his career. And I think he's going to continue to give the Braves quality seasons. Now, Acuna, like a lot of other base runners, was able to take advantage of the pitch clock rules this year. I'm not knocking him for it because I expected, more stolen bases around baseball, but he was able to combine it with speed, power, and then the ability to hit for average. And that's something that is a lost art in the current game. So I think, for a guy like Acuna to take it, scale it back, if you will, and show us something from a different era of Major League Baseball, something that is still very, very successful at this level. You can't argue with that. A guy who hit above 300, more than 40 home runs, more than 100 runs batted in, that high on base percentage, and then of course 73 stolen bases. So with that said, it's very deserving, and I think that this young man definitely has another, or will have another opportunity to be in that mix. A lot of talented players on the National League side. We saw Corbin Carroll, the young man from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He finished fifth. Juan Soto, is he going to continue to play in the National League? We got to wait and see. Austin Riley, another one of the Atlanta Braves team. He finished in the top 10 as well. So, with that said, it's not a slam dunk, but about the MVP awards. But nonetheless, I definitely think Acuna Jr. will continue to be in the mix as long as he's healthy. He's in the prime of his career, and we see what this young man can do at the plate and in the field when he's clicking on all cylinders. But nonetheless, very deserving of the 2023 NL MVP was Ronald Acuna Jr., as he has some individual hardware to add to his baseball mantle. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. And I thank all of you who are listening to this for dealing with my bad throat, continuing to be a work in progress. But nonetheless, we got to go out here and do what we got to do. And once again, thanks again. So, folks, as always, this is William Martin signing off and saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.